Today I'm on UFC 4 and we're going to see what would happen if the UFC had a pound for pound tournament based on the current rankings as of April 2023. The computers will control every fighter at pro difficulty and every fight will be 3 rounds until the championship fight. This time around the bracket doesn't feature any true heavyweights, so this feels a lot more open compared to last time where Ngannou just took every fighter to the casting couch. Jon Jones is currently ranked number 1, so he has a first round bye and will fight the winner of Moreno and Oliveira. When you mix the weights, Jones is fighting at 205. There's only 2 other fighters fighting at above 200 pounds. The light heavyweight champion Jamahal Hill has his hands full with the number 3 ranked pound for pound fighter Islam. And then there's Yuri. He's the underdog in the rankings, but his 70-pound weight advantage should even things out for him in the fight against Aljamain Sterling. First up is 8 seed Charles Oliveira versus 9 seed Brandon Moreno. They're both jiu-jitsu black belts, so unsurprisingly in this one we didn't have any crazy highlights. Moreno grazed him with a solid flying knee. Oliveira kicked him in the dick. Moreno slapped him with a spinning kick, and just when things were getting good, Oliveira scored a takedown. From there, they went back and forth trying to submit one another for the remainder of the round. In the second round, before any noteworthy strikes were able to land, Oliveira scored another takedown. Oliveira had the majority of ground control, but Moreno countered right as his stamina was getting low. Moreno then lands a huge right hand.
Great job.
He then goes for the arm bar right next to the cage, but he pulls it off. Brandon Moreno starts things off with an upset, but it will be interesting to see how his fighting style will work out against Jon Jones in the second round. Next up is 5 seed Israel Adesanya versus 12 seed Dustin Poirier. Both guys can throw down with the best of them, but Izzy is coming in with over half a foot of height and reach advantage. Early on, Izzy was dominating the long range battle, but Dustin had a power advantage in close. We get our first stun of the entire tournament with a body strike. Dustin nearly gets his payback with a close left later in the round, but Izzy follows up with 2 more big body strikes and proceeds to shadow box above a knockdown Dustin Poirier. In the opening seconds of the second round, Izzy finally does some damage up top. He then sets up a beautiful spinning kick knockdown, but he has no interest in wrestling. I guess Dustin's corner came up with the game plan of Superman punching Izzy repeatedly, but it wasn't paying off for him. Late in the second, both fighters' staminas are running low, but Izzy has significantly damaged his head, body, legs, knees and toes, so it doesn't take much for Dustin to go down, and Izzy walks away with the victory with barely any time remaining in the second. Izzy will be taking on the winner of this next one that features 2 of the best strikers in the business, 4 seed Leon Edwards versus 13 seed Max Holloway. These 2 had a awkward long feeling out process, so a big strike didn't come until a minute left in the first, where Leon hit Max with his now signature high kick. Leon was tearing up Holloway's legs, which hurt, but so do spinning kicks to the head. Holloway does some damage in the second, but nothing too significant. Leon goes for a takedown late in the second, which I've never seen in person, but he somehow comes out of it with a stunning knee to his head. Leon is whiffing his shots, but Holloway can't reach him, and this super fight comes to a very sudden ending. Next is the 3 seed Islam Makhachev versus 14 seed Jamahal Hill. Both champions in their respective division, but there's about a 0% chance this fight would ever actually take place. Jamahal is the only 4-star fighter featured in this video, but he's coming into this with an extra 50 pounds and 9 inches in reach. Islam actually opens up the fight by piecing up Jamahal Hill, but it takes him 30 seconds to land a takedown. They get up a few minutes later and they're back down again, but calm down Jamahal. He drops him with a double elbow, and on the takedown he drops him again, but Jamahal falls for the trap and Islam doesn't let him up for the rest of the round. Islam opens up the third and final round with a big kick. He then takes him down once again. They get up. Islam takes him down whenever he wants. I think you see where this is going. Islam wins by decision 29-28. Next is one of the biggest weight advantages of the first round, and I believe it's a rematch from the first time I did this type of video. We have the 6 seed 5'7", 135 pound Aljamain Sterling taking on the 11 seed 6'3", 205 Yuri Prochazka. There wasn't much going on in the first round. Sterling set up a takedown after landing an awkward body kick, landed some damage on the ground, and attempted a couple submissions, but Yuri survived the round. In the second, Yuri started to realize he could hit his opponent while in a different zip code, and as soon as he let him get close, he knocked him down with 2 major uppercuts. Sterling somehow survived a beauty of a spinning elbow and some wide open strikes, and he even stuns Yuri on the feet with a sneaky left. Most of the time, it looks like Sterling is punching a brick wall, but he keeps stunning him once once in a while, which could lead to one of the most unpredictable knockouts, but then again, all it takes is one good punch from Yuri to send him into the next decade. With 20 seconds left in round 2, Sterling drops him, but Yuri recovers, and it's the basic uppercut that knocks out Sterling. That's got to be the best fight so far. Sterling almost had him on the feet. I'm no Dana White, but this is a fight I would love to see take place in real life. Next up is one of the best fights of the first round. 7-seed Kamaru Usman versus 10-seed Alex Pereira. This isn't too uneven on the stat sheet, and Kamaru could very well just lay on Alex for the next 15 minutes. Kamaru goes for a takedown early in the fight, but of course Alex of all people stuffs the takedown and successfully lands one of his own. Alex embarrasses himself in front of the entire arena, so he responds with a nasty combination of punches and a very familiar kick for Kamaru.
Huge right hand!
Alex kept stuffing the takedowns. He's an expert at it inside this game, and all it took was one more good punch and Kamaru is once again trending on Twitter for the wrong reasons. Shout out to OT Megan. And the last fight of the first round, the lowest seed Robert Whittaker versus the 2-seed Alexander Volkanovski. Volk is half a foot shorter but only has a 2-inch reach disadvantage. Volk comes out immediately targeting Whittaker's legs, but he throws them so much that after Whittaker gets a few checks in and one good leg kick, he's running the risk of having his post-fight interview on the mat. Regardless, he opens up the second round throwing leg kicks, not protecting his own or his head. He is now knocking himself down after continuing to throw the leg kick, yet he doesn't want to grapple. He's an absolute madman. He just keeps getting dropped, but he won't give up. That was nice to see and all, but hand over Tasmania to New Zealand. Whittaker just plain and simple tore this man apart and is moving on to the second round. That really wasn't even close. Volk had 24 significant strikes. Whittaker had 7 stuns, 7 leg health events, and 5 knockdowns. In the quarterfinals, Whittaker will have his dream fight against Alex Pereira. Islam is fighting another 205er in Yuri Prohaska. Leon versus Izzy is a pretty fair matchup, and then there's John Jones versus Brandon Moreno. I mean, statistically, this is one of the most uneven and unethical fight possibilities in this game, but at least John Jones is forced to weigh in at 205. Still, John Jones just played with his food for a while. This was never even a fair fight. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna cut to the highlights.
Trying to get and if you do that, but this is
John Jones couldn't have had an easier path, but he's in the semifinals, but at least he'll have some stiffer competition based on the next fight between Izzy and Leon. These two had a super even first round. Izzy clearly had the length advantage, so Leon kept waiting on the counter. However, Izzy showed glimpses of a Roadhouse movie remade in 2023, which likely won him the first round. If this game allowed illegal moves like spinning head kicks to your downed opponent's head, this fight would have been over early. Out of nowhere, Izzy lands a kick from the gods, or the developers of this game. It really seems like they sped that kick up in his favor there. Izzy then almost finished the fight with a spinning back fist, but Leon hangs on. The Rocky music must be playing in his head, though to be honest, he might just be hearing ringing in his ears at this point. Izzy is now easily dropping him with whatever strike he throws, but he allows Leon back up and Leon stuns him for the first time in the fight, but while he's being knocked out from a weak uppercut. Leon landed the bigger strike here, but that's just how this game works. Israel Adesanya is advancing to the semifinals for a super fight against John Jones. On the other side of the bracket, Islam has another giant to conquer, but this time Yuri has a 10-inch reach advantage on the second highest ranked fighter remaining, and Yuri is a lunatic inside and outside of this game. He almost takes out Islam in the opening seconds of the fight. Islam goes to his takedown game, but he gets caught and almost loses the fight again. He was able to take down Yuri at the 330 mark and doesn't allow him to get back up thanks to his hugging abilities. Islam started off the second with 3 unsuccessful takedown attempts, and of course Yuri just dominated him in the short range, and his body and head are now lit up. Both fighters' staminas are running low, but Yuri knees him to the head and follows him to the ground, which is a great strategy if you want to lose this fight to a decision. Islam is nice enough to get off his back, which obviously leads to him having his back on the cage. They're exhausted now, so they mutually agree to a timeout in the middle of the fight, but supposedly Yuri is winning the stamina battle. Islam is drained after one combination. Yuri dodges in slow motion, and it's lights out for Islam. That's a really risky sentence on my part. Yuri is locked in for the semifinals and will next be matched up against the winner of Alex Pereira and Robert Whittaker. So far, this is the only realistic matchup so far, but thanks to Izzy, it should never happen in real life. And wouldn't you know it, this was the most boring fight so far. Alex turned into 2020 Yoel Romero. We didn't have a single big strike or takedown in the first round. We finally saw some action midway through the second. Alex accidentally knocked Whittaker down, and somehow Whittaker's Superman punch worked and stunned Alex. And to be honest, that alone was enough to win the fight for Whittaker. Alex pulled a Ben Simmons and lost all his confidence. He started to literally turtle up instead of taking off his head like I thought he would. And Robert Whittaker won by decision. Not gonna lie, I was hoping to see Alex versus Yuri in the semifinals. That is the fight I would love to see happen in real life, but instead the lowest seed in the tournament, Robert Whittaker, popped Alex's ass cherry and has managed to make it to the semifinals. First up is Jon Jones versus Israel Adesanya, which if it weren't for the now shy Brazilian robot in the last fight, this would likely be the championship fight. These two went tit for tat early in round one, but Izzy found an opening and landed the first stunning strike of the match, and the second, third, and fourth. Jones was winning the second with his wrestling skills, but this game just doesn't do his ground and pound justice. The Jon Jones I know is throwing nothing but elbows from this position, legal or not. Izzy drops him in the opening minutes of the third, and I'm not sure why he didn't finish the fight here, but it doesn't matter because Izzy continued to take advantage of a GOAT as if he lived in the Middle East. Izzy won by unanimous decision and is advancing to the championship fight. Yuri came out trigger happy in the semifinal fight and stunned Whittaker in the opening seconds. It's a pretty even round from there, but Yuri has the second big strike near the end of the round, and he almost capitalizes off Whittaker's goofy Superman punch. Again, Yuri opened off the round with a bang. He dropped Whittaker and almost decapitated him with a high kick, but as Yuri is sending a knee, he gets dropped by a Whittaker kick. He levitates up and answers with a knockdown of his own. So now Whittaker finally has some sense of hope, but he gets dropped by a spinning back fist, and Yuri is advancing to the championship fight. Yuri has made it this far mostly because of his sheer size and hype videos recorded out in the woods. He still comes into this final fight 20 pounds heavier, but Izzy has a match more or less in height and reach. Surprisingly, Yuri doesn't try to send a flying knee into his opponent in the opening seconds, and these two masterclass kickboxers are having a hard time connecting, so we didn't get any noteworthy shots in the first, but this is a 5-round fight. Izzy switched up his game plan in the second. He tried to take Yuri's head off less and made the right decision of trying to make him piss blood, which led to the first stunning strike of the match. But Yuri is a wizard with a mean right. He stuns Izzy soon after. I didn't realize this watching it live, but Izzy has been throwing dozens of basic strikes to Yuri's legs, and before the end of the second, Yuri's leg health is making him look like a good fit for the LA Clippers. In the third, he even started flopping like he belonged in the league. To be fair, his entire body is compromised, but his reactions are delayed by a second or two. Izzy is now just being disrespectful and toying with him, but he keeps following him to the ground, which isn't going to earn him a knockout. Even when Yuri does land a good shot, he keeps stumbling because Izzy is literally trying to clean out the 205 division, and it's Yuri's own leg kick that ends the fight. Yuri made a pretty solid run for an 11 seed. He may never fight again, and the stubbornness of his character made for an anticlimactic ending to this, but there you have it. Israel Adesanya is the pound for pound champion. None of this would have been possible without the absence of Francis Ngannou, but in my opinion, he had the toughest opponents possible. All he was missing was a Dagestani trying to cuddle with him, but that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.